Okay. Well, thank you to Paul and your assistant. Paul, you
Jeannie.
had Jeannie's assisting last week. I'm sure it was an awesome call. Unfortunately, there was no recording, so we don't have the playback on that call. And I can't get highlights because I wasn't on the call, nor do I have the recording. So unfortunately, I don't know what to say. Maybe you can tell us what, those of you who were on the call, was the highlight for you. Anyone? If you were on last week's call with Paul and Jeannie, what was the highlight?
If nobody talks, I will.
Okay, Paul.
It's okay to talk about the comfort zone, right? That's very interesting, and I see a lot of comment about that. Thank you, Paul. You do a great job.
You may have seen the image that I had posted on the chats about the comfort zone, and the video, by the way. There, thanks, Paul. You shared this video of the actual presentation that utilizes that image. Actually, I'm looking back. I see the video. I don't know if I posted it on this chat. I didn't post it on all the chats because the video was posted. The point being, how many of you are in your comfort zone? I'll tell you, this business is a simple business. It really is. I mean, I'm engaged in conversations about business pretty much every day. And I'm so grateful. I thank my lucky stars that I have Nikken, because I don't think I'd be qualified to do any other business, to be honest. They're complicated and they involve things that are not very comfortable, and yet thousands and thousands and thousands of people, millions of people, either own or work for a company, a corporation, a business, and they stay in their comfort zone because what they're buying is familiarity. I had a friend of mine say McDonald's success in the restaurant business is predictability. They make a predictable meal, and that's what people were relying on when they go to McDonald's. They know what they're going to get before they get there. So quite an interesting thought. Predictability is something that people really value, because, well, especially in uncertain times, right? People want things that are predictable. Sue, I'm not sure if you're muted on purpose or unmuted on purpose, but you're coming in and out, so I'm going to mute you unless you, yeah, okay, thanks. Lynn.
You just touched something, Mike, that I would like to share. My family is involved in a business with DHL. That's an international company. They are in every country other than one in the world. And I'm just going to give you something I've just heard today, because the company is restructuring. Of course, it's a business internationally. 75% of their employees are going to have the reduction in their income, even though they operate where individual, it could be, for example, it's a delivery company. The cost and operation is totally theirs to take care of the territory, but they have no control what happens after that. So can you imagine being there for so many years and all of a sudden you're having reduction during these economic times in your income? So, and that's a company that's in all the countries other than one or two in the world.
Mm. So then what do these people do?
They have to adjust their lifestyle because so many are stuck. What can you do if you're there 20, 15, 30 years? You are stuck.
Yeah. Well, we have alternatives to that. And by the way, there's nothing easy about starting your own business. It can be simple, but not easy. And so it's the wrong thing to think about whether something is easy or not. I think that the question we should ask is it worth it? And so now what defines worthwhile? I wanted to do this. I was going to do this on a training. I'm going to do this now. I want you to think of the 5 pillars of health. We're going to take a poll right now. I'm just going to do that right now with everybody on the phone or on the call. This is better done in a large room when there's a lot of people and you have not so much a mature audience where you have more people from that are even new, that are very, very new, in fact, because this is usually where you're going to see the variance. So I'm going to write the 5 pillars of health down in a chart right here. Okay. So there's body, mind, family, society, finances. That's how I learned it. And so now I'm going to ask everybody, starting with the pillar of body, on a if 100%, if 100 is the scale, 100%, what percentage improvement would you say, since being introduced to Nikken products, have you experienced in the area of your health, where your body's concerned? I want everybody to just shout out a number, one at a time. Leo, everybody unmute yourself so you can give me a number.
50%.
50.
40%.
40.
80.
80?
My health is better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What percentage? 80?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Me-
Who else?
70 D.
70. Okay. Percentage increase in your overall benefits of body. So we're talking about the 5 pillars right now, body. What's the percentage increase since being utilizing Nikken products? Percentage increase change in your health.
Hmm.
Who hasn't given me a number? 50?
Mhm.
Anyone else?
I'll say 40.
40? Anyone else?
70, Mike.
70? Anyone else? We got 50, 40, 80, 70, 70, 50, 40. Anyone else?
I'll say 80, Mike. This is Cheney.
80. Did everybody answer yet? I should have 15 responses.
Could you
Hey, Mike.
repeat the question?
Yeah, the question is, in the area of the 5 pillars, body, mind, family, society, finances. Alex, you're pretty new, like really new. So this is really cool to watch because it's really neat to see this when you have a larger audience and then you get a wide cross-section of people from new to people who've been around a while. I want to get the percentage increase or improvement since using Nikken products on their health physically. So what percentage increase improvement, what would you give us?
On the body?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's 1 to 100.
Well, Alex thinks I can say, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear
Okay, excellent. I'm going to say 15 for me.
15. Yeah, the newest people is one that you would
Yeah.
expect the lower numbers, but that's all right.
Yeah, I would say like 10, 15.
Okay, times 2. Anyone else? Percentage increase in physical health in the area of the body.
Can somebody translate in French? Because I'm not sure to understand the question.
The question is, Angelica, since you've been using Nikken products, what would you say from 1 to 100 has been the improvement in your health?
Oh my God. 100 every single month. Every single month, I thank God for having Nikken because
Okay.
my period is like, it's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that could be, it could be one thing, but it could be a very big thing, right? So,
For me,
yeah.
the thing, yeah.
Anyone else want to jump in here before we move on to the next one? Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. In the area of mind, throw some numbers at me. Improvement in the area of mind, whatever your interpretation of that is. For me, it's usually, you know, how you think about life, how you think about your future, your attitude. What's the improvement percentage-wise where mind is concerned?
70%.
70. Somebody else said
60.
70. Anyone else?
75.
75,
80 again.
80. For those of you who just came out of HBM, should be around 101. What? Sorry, what was that?
For me, I would say it's 100 also, because it's like, it's crazy how my mind has changed.
Awesome, awesome. Anyone else?
20.
20? Okay. Anyone else?
I'd go with 90. 90. myself.
90.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyone else?
80.
80. Anybody else? We don't have the same number of people answering in the second question. Come on, everybody.
I did.
Okay, well, if you did, great. All right, let's move on to family. Improvement in family pillar, percentage-wise.
40 for sure.
50.
90.
90.
80.
Pretty strong one.
40.
50.
40?
Yeah.
Somebody said 50. What else?
50.
Anybody?
5.
5?
I
Alex?
haven't reached out to them enough yet.
Okay, there you go. There
They're
you go.
far.
I would say 60.
60? Okay. Anybody else?
50.
50? Okay, so you're getting a sense, right? Okay, let's go to society pillar. So society being, I kind of read society as my influence, my impact, my connection to having made a difference, whatever. What would you say percentage-wise improvement from your before Nikken?
70.
Are you talking to me?
Everybody.
60.
70.
70, 60, 70. Anyone else?
10.
70.
10. Okay, and 70.
70.
Are we on society?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
50%.
50. Okay.
I would say 40 for me.
40.
20.
20.
40. 40.
40. 40.
60.
60. Is that it, everybody? Okay, last one, finances. Percentage improvement, percentage increase, percentage improvement, where your finances are concerned since getting involved again.
100%.
30%.
0 so far.
50%.
Increasing.
80.
Oh. 10.
10,
0.
0,
30.
30,
I would say 35.
35,
50.
50,
40.
40. Anyone else? Okay, let's take stock of this. Particularly those of you who are new, notice where you had the least improvement,
Yep.
okay? Which is very typical. I expect that. But if we only measure success one way, the only way we've ever been taught, by how much money you got in your bank account or what kind of car you drive, in other words, money is the measure of success. That's your only way of measuring success. You're a big flat 0. Doesn't feel really good, right? But Nikken doesn't define success as a measure of your money. They define success as a measure of balance and the movement toward improvement, which is the whole concept of Kaizen, forever seeking improvement. So it's movement, it's improvement in the areas in a balanced way. And for those of you who are new, you've had the least amount of movement, but you've had movement. And so if you were to define success that way, you would say, so far, so good. You've got some movement. You've got some success in other areas of your life, body, mind, family, society, and maybe not so much yet in finances. But isn't it interesting how you rate yourself in these categories? And if you don't look at the whole picture, you miss the story. So it's not just about money. It's the value of your life as defined by your 5 pillars. And so Nikken is about helping us come to that realization that my life is not a reflection of my money. It's a reflection of my wholeness, whether or not I'm balanced, whether or not I'm moving in a direction of improvement. And so this is a really a great exercise to do if you're ever in a live meeting and you want to, or at a training, and you want to impress on the audience, how has Nikken impacted people in each of these areas? We talk a lot about the 5 pillars, but we don't really take stock. We don't really do measurements. And so every now and then, it's really nice to do this. In fact, in one of my earlier trainings, I have this as an annual, as a monthly report. Send this report to your sponsor every month so that you and they can see the movement. Because if you don't see movement, you'll think, if you've only defined success as finances, you'll think you're not succeeding, even though you may have had huge gains in other areas. It's really important you understand that. See, what I found over the years is that the pillar that improves the most over time, or the pillar that the one that moves over a longer period of time than the others is the finances. And that's obviously a reflection of growing a business, right? You don't grow a business overnight. But if you're my neighbor who just slept on the Nikken sleep system for 2 nights, 3 nights, whatever it is now, and they ordered 3. They got their first one, then they ordered one for their brother, and then the next day they ordered one for their cousin because they can't stop talking about it. There's my neighbor right next door who I just dropped off their king-size mattress for their brother. So that's a huge win in terms of the physical, but they have there's no participation in the business yet. So if we only measure one thing and we're not measuring the whole thing, we're going to miss out. We're going to miss out on the value of this opportunity. We're going to miss out on the value of our involvement. And so I think this little exercise is worth doing every now and then to remind yourself of the value that Nikken has brought into your life as you define your life as all these 5 pillars. So did you have a comment? Okay. By the way, does anybody have a comment about this, having now heard it from yourself, your own numbers?
It makes me want to cry, but out of happiness. Because most businesses only have the money, the money there. The money is everything. What have you done for me today? Doesn't matter that you did 1,000 things, but this making the whole big picture is really, I'm trying to think a word that would go with that, but it's just wonderful. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Sue. I agree with you. Angelica, you have your hand?
For me, it's also quite a thing because sometimes some people, they tell me, so how much you earn? And it feels uncomfortable because I don't want to say, just like, oh, I'm earning a lot of money, because it's not true. But I'm earning a lot in experience. And now that you are asking that questions, it's just making me realize how big is the picture. And sometimes because we evaluate ourselves in just a matter of like how much money we have, then it's not the only thing. And that's amazing. That's even better, because it's not only about money, it's about the whole picture. So thank you for that, Mike.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to share actually. That what comes to mind is something I heard recently. It may have been Luis who mentioned it at a training, but it keeps coming back to me. Is about we often think of jobs as a society in terms of what we can get out of them, the salary or things like that. But we tend to not ask ourselves, who am I becoming while I'm doing this work? And yeah, I think this exercise is a great reflection of that, and I'm definitely going to implement it more regularly.
Beautiful, nicely said. I mean, dovetails really nicely into the Nikken motto, humans being more.
Right.
What does it actually mean? You just described it. You just defined it. It's that improvement, that incremental improvement in each of these areas. And yeah, sometimes one lags behind, or two or three, but it's the movement. Anyone else?
Mike, this was an excellent exercise to share when we talk about our elevator pitch. This is a great way to share how we stand apart from most companies, that we're not just focusing on the bottom line, that we're looking at the whole person, growth development and all these other things that rarely come up when people talk about what they're doing with their business. So I thank you for this, because I'm going to incorporate this in the future when I'm sharing with people as a door opener. So thank you for that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Beautiful.
Mike,
yeah, go ahead, Paul.
on my life cycle plan, I had visiting my daughter in Arizona, but it was more in the future. But then today I said, no, it can't be, it's got to be soon. So I worked today on planning that for the beginning of August. And I'm really glad with Nikken that I am kind of not pushed, but really encouraged to pay attention to this family pillar, because a lot of people are, particularly if children are far away, or, oh, I don't have the money, and time passes, that they don't pay attention to this family pillar. In Nikken, we're encouraged to pay attention to that family pillar and do it sooner than later. And so while I was thinking today, oh gosh, I didn't do other things, I didn't work on the financial pillar, what we were doing tonight says that's not the only pillar you're supposed to work on. Your family pillar is just as important. And I have the courage to do it, because I know everything is going to work out in the other pillars too, if I just continue growing and discovering in Nikken.
Brilliant. Yeah. You know what? I mean, think about it. A good night's sleep, how does that affect your day? It affects your day in every way. So each of these pillars affects your life in every way. So an improvement in any one is an improvement, period, in all of them. It's going to be reflected and echoed in the other areas. So it's huge. This formula for success that Nikken has given us, this guidance system is what I refer to it as. It's my GPS. I know very easily if I had a good day or a bad day based on whether or not I was moving towards the target or away from the target. Like, I'll give you an example. Tonight's dinner, did that move you in the direction toward a healthy body or away? Pretty simple thing. We can tell right away, and we can gauge it very immediately as to whether or not we're moving in the right direction. Did my actions today move me in the direction toward healthier finances or away? Did my actions or my thoughts or my attitude today move me toward a healthier life, a more prosperous life, a more abundant life or away? It's a very simple GPS system. It's brilliant. One of the, does anybody else want to share? My favorite definition of success, I think the quintessential definition of success came from Earl Nightingale. And I got it from my mentor, Bob Proctor, who got it directly from Earl Nightingale. And he said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And so when Bob Proctor was asked, what does it mean, a worthy ideal? His answer was something worthy of trading your life for. And if you think about it, is not every minute of your day a trade, an exchange for your life, right? There's only so many days and so many minutes that you have. At the end of your life, we will know exactly how many that was. And so you're exchanging things for that time, for that life. And if we're not exchanging it for something that's worthy of us, then that's foolishness. So how do I know what's worthy of my life? Well, when I look at these 5 pillars, everything that I'm doing, am I moving toward a healthier body, a healthier mind, a healthier family, a healthier society, healthier finances, or away? It's a simple thing to measure. It's a simple thing to understand. So long as I'm moving toward it, I'm successful. That's the definition from Earl Nightingale. It's the progressive realization of this worthy ideal. The worthy ideal being a healthy, prosperous, abundant individual in each of these 5 pillars. So as I'm moving, the movement toward this is by definition success. It's when I stop moving toward them, I'm not a success, which I can turn around and start again. So I can pick it up immediately and become a success story again. So my success is really a movement towards something worthy of my life. And I found a long, long time ago that movement toward a healthier lifestyle through these 5 pillars as a metric, as a measure, as a guidance system, there's never been anything that surpassed this. Now, there's often somebody will say, well, what about your spiritual development, and I'll say, well, again, it's encompassed in this. One person could say my mind is part of my spiritual evolution, but I actually believe I am a spiritual being living a physical experience. So my spirit is involved in every one of these pillars. And the question is my spirit expanding or is it contracting in these pillars?
Right.
I
Angelica.
would like to share that I told you already in the last call, I took the decision to move to Vancouver, and for me, I was 16 years old when I knew I wanted to live there. And can you imagine, I am 40 years old today, and everything in the last years, it's like guiding me, towards a dream. And I have been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and I'm sure 100% that universe wants me to go towards this place, because ever since I took the decision firmly, like the day I wanted to start Nikken and the day you told me you have to go silver, and just everything, it really is crazy. Today I was checking, because I dream to have a van life, okay? And today I was looking in marketplace. I don't even know like what I was doing there, and these things pops up, a van, exactly the same amount of money I can have for my car. And I was like, what? I have been looking like for years, and all of them are out of my budget. And now this guy, because he lives in Lac Mégantic, he's like, a lot of people have been contacting me and they want it. but it's too far for them because they live in Montreal. And me, I'm going tomorrow. I'm gonna meet the guy, and I'm gonna have that to go to Vancouver. And it's just blows my mind how when you take the decision. And I just had a call with small call with Cabeto and Alex, and we're planning this thing for the July the 5th, and everything flows, you know. So I'm so impressed, and I want more of that. Stop being afraid and stop just like listening to my fears and say ciao, bye. You're not welcome anymore. What's the worst thing can happen? You know, I work in McDonald's. You know, that's the worst thing that can happen.
I'm sure there's worse, but no, you don't want to be doing that. No.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's awesome. Well, good. I'm very happy to hear that this conversation's hitting home. I'm surprised I haven't done it more often, because it is something that I think pivots us correctly, helps us to really place value when we're speaking with people. Like, what do you talk about when you talk about Nikken? Are you really presenting the best scenario? And is it relatable to the other person? And we had a call earlier. The French call is at 7, and I'll show you some of the numbers. I want to go over the numbers, because we still do run a business, and it's important to be able to offer people that option. And oh gosh, the thought just slipped my mind here. Well, yeah, well, it was just that point. The point was, we want to be able to offer something of value. And if you don't appreciate the value of it, how are you going to speak about it? What are you going to say if you don't have a real connection to the value here? So let me just share my screen, if I may. We're going to switch this conversation to a little bit more on the practical. And by the way, just before I do that, I got to show you something, because I have it on my screen still from my earlier call. I want to show you something. This is, you can read it, 330 Blitz leaderboard. You're wondering, what the hell is that? We're doing a little project in Quebec, and we decided to, everybody, to make a pledge. How many presentations are you going to do in the next 30 days? And the goal was, collectively, we would achieve 30 or 300 presentations. That's new people introduced to Nikken in a proper way, the way we teach, not just the products, but the whole picture. And I provided some materials, the new presentation materials, and they had some catalogs. So everybody was going to receive one of these 300 catalogs and presentation booklet post the presentation. So we had everybody give us their pledge, and then I created this leaderboard, which shows the name of the person and the pledge, the number of presentations they pledged to do in the 30 days. And tomorrow is the completion of this 30-day blitz. And as you can see, Angelica wrote here, she's going to do 25 presentations. And as you can also see, she's done 27, which puts her #1 in the leaderboard overall. And so I think that ought to have in its own a little bit of a, let's give her a congratulations, because she's, wait, let me switch the screen so you can see everybody. I think we should give her a congratulations, because not only did she do what she said she was going to do, and believe me, not everybody has. So this itself is a very significant thing, because a lot of the training that went into this, a lot of the conversations that went into this was about being somebody who was able to give yourself a command and follow through on it, because that's what it means to be an entrepreneur. Nobody's your boss. You're the only one who gets to say. And so we got to get you in the habit of saying and doing what you say. Say what you mean what you say. And that's the mastery of being self-governed, self-actualized. And then, of course, that shows up in every aspect of your life, including business. So not only did she do the 25 she said she was going to do, but she did more, and she did it before the time limit. So I think that says it all. Angelica, that tells you and me and anybody watching this how you use your mind, how you use your will. And so if you say you're going to go in Vancouver and a van mysteriously appears, to me, that's not a surprise. That's just you using the law, right? So you can use that law any way you want. And you want to get in the habit of it. You want to be somebody who can do it with, just because you say so, and that's the way it is. So awesome. Anyway, let me share with you some numbers here, because I think this is also a result that's worth taking note. I shared this with the group on one of them, on all the chats, I think. So here is Caroline. I don't know if Caroline is on the call right now. I don't think she is. I didn't think I saw her, but she is a new team member as of last month, May, on Leo's team, in downline to Leo. And she, if I remember correctly, she's 19 or 20. She was one of the gals that was interviewed 2-3 weeks ago in the call that I did of the 2 new silvers that I interviewed. Anyway, we wanted to get a number. What was her income for what she completed? She completed 3 powerhouses. Now, if you've heard any of the trainings, either by Nikken, myself, Dave Rolfe, we talk about a strategy for helping somebody go silver. A great strategy to launch somebody into silver is to do 3 back-to-back powerhouses. Now, the way the powerhouse is designed right now, you have to do it inside a calendar month. So if you're just starting now, you've got, 10 days left, so to speak, in the month to get it done. But if you're starting at the beginning of the month, you've got the full run of the month. So it's a great launch strategy for somebody brand new to kickstart their business, because number one, they only have to learn about one product. It's so much easier to learn about Nikken if you can focus on something, and it's focusing on the waterfall, learning about the waterfall, features, benefits, and so forth is a lot easier if it's one thing. And it's a common issue, it's a common need, so it's probably the low-hanging fruit. And then Nikken has provided us with an excellent incentive around that, which allows somebody to really make some serious money. Check this out. She did 3 powerhouses. She followed the plan to do 3 powerhouses, and at the end of it, earned herself a whopping $2,500, $2,552.34 in her first month of business. That's a pretty heck of a return on investment. Now, how did this come about? Well, as you know, Nikken offers a bonus. Well, first of all, there's a retail profit at each waterfall. So she did 9 waterfalls, and the retail profit was $124 Canadian for each waterfall. That's $1,116. If you want the US numbers, just divide this by 1.32. Now, we also have bonuses. The bonuses are paid on each waterfall sold, and it's 60 US, which is 81 Canadian, times 9, that's $729. Bonuses on the 9 waterfalls of her 3 powerhouses. So a powerhouse is 3 waterfalls and 1 consultant who does 500 points. That's a powerhouse. She did that times 3. Now, when you do a powerhouse, when you complete one, you get an additional bonus of $120 US, which is 162 Canadian, and she did 3 of them, which is $486. And then, don't forget, as you move from direct to senior to executive, you have rebates and overrides. So those are commissions that show up on her check on the 15th of the following month. What are her commissions? $221.34 on her rise to silver, because she completed that with 6,571 points. So here's a beautiful example of somebody who took the 3 powerhouses to heart and went silver in the process of executing that and making themselves an extra $2,500. Now, if she does that this month, she'll earn the same retail, she'll earn the same bonuses. However, since she's a silver starting this month, she's going to earn that 20% rebate / override from the beginning. So her commissions are going to be about double that, if not more. So she could earn herself as much as $3,000 this month doing the same thing. Not a bad 2-month run. If she in turn helps somebody do this, remember, we also earn an income for helping other people. She would earn somewhere around in the neighborhood of $1,000 helping somebody go silver doing what she just did. So what I have here is I have an example of something that's been done. Not in the future, not in the distant past, but last month. So what I have here is something I can actually offer somebody. I have an example that I can offer somebody in helping them get started and generate that kind of revenue, which would be very motivating to some people. Would you agree? Would you agree some people would be very motivated to earn an extra $2,000 or $3,000 this month? So you have that to offer. That's part of your arsenal of tools. And coming back to the financial pillar being one of the reasons why people do this as a business is giving them a plan of action so that they can turn that passion, that purpose into profits. So take stock of that strategy. It's an excellent strategy. Now, sort of to toot my own horn a little bit here, don't forget there are other products and they're very useful too, like the sleep system, 4 of them for me last week. But I do want to mention one more thing about this example that you just saw. Let's go back to that example with Carol Ann. What else do we know about this? Well, with 9 people, and I believe there were more, but customers, but let's just start with the 9 customers here of the waterfall. That waterfall requires a replacement cartridge every 3 months. So you've got 9 replacement cartridges at least every 3 months. For how long? Any guesses? How long do you need to replace your cartridges and then your stones once a year? Paul, how long?
Forever.
Forever. So not only does she have $2,500 in earnings her first month, she has an income potentially forever. That's a hell of a way to start a business and move your life trajectory onto a path of prosperity. Guys, that's not a theory, that's happening. And that happened this past month with somebody in our Nikken family. So I wanted to bring this up as an emphasis because what does that mean to you? How does that matter to you? Leverage the story. It's our story. Leverage it, duplicate it, offer it. Ask anybody out there interested in this for themselves. Because at least what you have is a plan and an example that it's real. That's more than a lot of people can say in these financial times. You have a plan, you have an example, and you know what that plan reveals in terms of income potential. So, hey, you have that. That's a tool. That's pretty important. In fact, for some people, that might be more important than a waterfall, more important than a sleep system, maybe the very thing that they need. So you have that. Start sharing that information with people. That's why I wanted to share it tonight. Any questions, comments before we wrap up? So far, so good. All right. Well, I would say then it's been a good call. Angelica, you have your hand up?
Yes. I know I could have told you this later, but it's always better when public is here because for me it's like, okay, I said this in front of many people. So I want you, Mike, to coach me and my team. I want Cabeto to succeed. I want Alex to succeed. I want my team to succeed because I know everybody's going to win. So I want your benediction for us and your coach, please.
Well,
Because
listen, you've got it, and you do show up on the calls, and so every day you learn something new. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Have you
but
not?
I
Have you
commit
not? So
myself to be more present with you, and I have always be afraid of like disturbing you. I don't know
listen,
why.
I'll tell you if I can take the call or I can't take the call. You can always write me. Have I ever not gotten back to any of you? I
No.
always get back to
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not immediate, but it's close enough. And so
Yes.
I do my best. So I will always do that.
Yes.
Mike,
Thank you,
I
Mike.
Yes,
have
Lynn.
to say for everyone, Mike does respond, so do not hesitate to call him. And I've learned that incredibly well this year. Thank you.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. All right, everybody. So we have our marching orders. We have our GPS coordinates punched in. We now know what that means and the value that that brings to our life and potentially to others. Let's get out there and not keep this a secret. People need to know and get a chance to be part of this community, get a chance to be part of this conversation. Yeah,
Outstanding call, Mike. Are you posting this one? Please say yes.
I will. I'll post it in about 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mike.
Good night.